ndika blanketi basi. Kumwani kungoza muna 300,000. Muna nthawi ya bwana kuti yapiti abwera atengera. Ane kupita kunyumba taulamu ile kupita kuona ndi one room ndagona pakambali. Atuka mota kumudwa omayi. Mimi ndaonera mayati. Koma fili kavandia kaji pata sitimate. Yvonne, sitimate. This is exactly what companies do. They always see the best of your company first when they will think about borrowing you. That's why whenever you want to borrow money as a company, they will always tell you, can you give us the financial stand or audited account? But we should know whether you are able to give us our money back or not. So this is what happens even in companies. So we look into maybe just an example, more examples that we should understand more about the assets. Why am I explaining all this? I want you to understand and be groomed why we are learning that subject, asset financial management, and how assets are important in an organization. If they were not important, we would have not that as a subject. We would have said, no, why should we learn about assets? And look at that. If we're talking of assets, we're talking of the capital of the organization. So if it's the capital of the organization, then we are involved as asset financial manager. Look at what we have learned already in connection of lease and hire purchase. Why? We are the people that are supposed to advise the management that, according to me, based on the differences and the similarities of lease and hire purchase, what if we go for this and not this? Okay? We are not just learning, but we are giving you ideas of how you are going to be assisting the managers in connection of asset management. So, we look into the fixed assets. We say consider fixed assets as a subset of operating assets. We are thinking that we are talking about that as the operating asset part. They include most of the tangible items, including property, machinery, tools, office supplies. They are deemed fixed by the International Accounting Standards. Okay? We are saying that fixed assets mostly are tangible. Okay? They are tangible, and we have given such examples like property, machinery, tools, and office supplies. Okay? So we are saying that why are they deemed fixed? They're deemed because of the international standard. It's a rule that is there, that it should be a fixed asset, because they cannot as easily be converted into cash as inventory can. Okay, that's why we're calling them fixed assets. They are also not going to be resold to the consumer because they are being used long term by the company to complete business operations. So when we are talking about fixed assets, we are talking about those that are tangible and those that cannot be sold for us to make money. But we are using them in everyday activities of the organization. Can you give an example here at your university, which are the fixed assets for the university? Just to give examples. Chairs, building, bus that we have bought. Is it? Is it not a fixed asset? It's a fixed asset. We are not using it as it should be learning and giving us revenue. If it's that, then it would have not. But because it's a standby, it's being used by you as students, it means it's a fixed asset. So we're saying fixed assets are tax advantageous because they experience depreciation under tax law. The assets are given a depreciation allowance. Many companies outsource accountants to avoid dealing with these complications that sometimes arise while bookkeeping and paying taxes. Okay? So we are saying that it's tax advantageous because of the depreciation that it's being depreciated every year. Then we go to current assets. Current assets account for all of the assets that will be converted into cash within 12 months. This includes cash inventory, accounts receivables, and other liquid assets. Okay? Current assets. For example, costing. Costing, costing. Okay. If we go back to costing, we can remember that sometimes we could give examples to say, we have bought inventory and it's in the warehouse. But we expect this inventory to be given to either make product or sold. So those are what we call the current assets. That they can be converted within 2 months into cash. Any question before we proceed? So we go to intangible assets. Maybe we start with the tangible one. As discussed above, tangible operating assets include all of the equipment used for manufacturing products, the goods used for complete a contract, the inventory you have stocked for sale, and of course the property where you learn these operations out of it. What we are talking about is tangible. You have stocked other things that you are going to keep them more than 12 months. That can be tangible. The property is only part of working capital if you own it. So renting a property is considered an operation expense. Clear there? Is it clear? Okay. The property is only part of the working capital if you own it. So renting a property is considered an operation expense. And is not an asset. Why are we learning all this? We want to understand which is supposed to go in the balance sheet and which is not supposed to be in the balance sheet, or is supposed to go to the profit and loss account. Because you are the advisors of the organization as you are going to be in the organization. Included in tangible operating assets would be any offset supplies needed to complete daily tasks that are fundamental to the income of a business. So, this is what we can appreciate when we are talking about tangible assets. So basically, look around, and if you can't get the job done without it, count it in. Don't count, however, old or broken equipment, absolute technology, or uncollected receivables these do not directly contribute to the revenue and therefore are not considered operating assets. So they are saying that we should look around. If something is absolute or as reached the end of the deduction of depreciation, it means it's absolute. As a result, that should not be taken into account as an asset again. If we are going to sell it, if we are going to do anything in connection with that, getting money with, it's going to be considered as the revenue. We can go back to assets. You know, sometimes we don't know that when we have used something or an asset, Papa fika ngakali in your phone. Ndifuna ndigule na ndigulise. Kwa hiyo, it means that's absolute. It has reached the standard that you can't have it again. What do? You say, I will sell it. So in a company, if it is that, it means it's revenue correction now. It's no more going to be something that is going to go into the balance sheet. Obviously, you are going to get money out of that and then you are going to let it go. So that is what they're explaining here, that this is what happened. And this we're telling you because they're going to have such cases that if you have assets, you have depreciated, and they say, the company said, no, I think what if we sell it? So you should know where you should be putting this money if we are talking about the balance sheet and the value of the company. So we go to intangible assets. So we can know that most of the things we can touch at work are likely considered an operating asset. Everything that we have touched. But what about those untouchable traits that make your company who you are? Intellectual property is just as much an asset as a desk chair or machinery you own. In fact, a lot of investors and financial advisors are becoming more aware of the intangible assets, and sometimes consider them to be even more valuable than physical assets. Things like trademarks, copyrights, patents, and trade secrets are all considered intellectual property. We are talking about intangible assets. So these are some of the examples that we have. They are not seen, they are not touched, but they are still assets that we as the asset financial managers have to know that they have got a value that is supposed to be shown in the balance sheet. Despite they are not seen. So, as I've said, that intangible asset examples I've given you, where should they go into as the two we have written the profit and loss and balance sheet? Where does it go? The copyright?
Already.
I mean to say between the profit and loss and balance sheet. We're talking that this balance sheet, they're supposed to go into the balance sheet. So, mind you, if we're talking about the intangible assets like trademark, all those are supposed to be posted in the balance sheet. We have said trademarks, copyright, patents. All these are some of the examples of intellectual property that goes into the balance sheet as the intangible asset. Mwanabakari. What now? They don't allow me because one wanga, I mean, I can pay anafta blanda ya kuchita. Ndiye naona ngasi ulibane DQ uchoka kunyumba ukamtu kufike ulibane DQ uwe hapo. That's why I can't be in my chair. Yes. Good. Maybe we go to accounts receivables. Accounts receivables. What is accounts receivable? Accounts receivable.
Well, I think the dates that are not yet fulfilled by the customer.
Come again?
Dates that are not yet fulfilled by the customer.
Accounts receivable. So wanasema kuendelea kwa hivyo accounts receivable. Kufika size yale ya mafinali. So we're saying hard cash is one operating asset you don't want to forget. All of the money sitting in the account receivable is considered as an asset, and you better include it when you are totaling up the total. This cash opens a lot of doorways for you. It shows investors that you are not only having that amount worth of tangible and intangible assets, but you also have cash to take care of short-term debts and to make smart operational investment for your company. Cash is considered as the current asset. What are we saying? We are saying that when we are talking about the accounts receivable, we are talking of the cash that we are having. What do we have? Sometimes we can think about mwapanga drama. Mwapanga profit. When you say this one, you put it to the capital. Na nasema mwapanga profit yani mwapa kama mauti ya shareholder. Then this remaining money, we say we should take it to the capital. We should increase our capital. Okay? Sisi mapanga chanzo kwa accounting masama. Sisi mapanga chanzo hivyo. Kuma subject na mwakamupa. Mwengera mugawa ndama chata mapanga profit mwapa kama shareholders their percentages, and then the remaining amount is taken to operating capital. Isn't it? Waiwala kapena hivyo? Ukumbuka? Chimozi, let me remind you Yvonne. Am I a great teacher? Am I a teacher? Good. She's a teacher. But let me take you maybe in a simple example like kukulisa mandazi. Mungu wapika mandazi. Wapita nao wakagulisa. Au gwera kuni, akweza kuti, ninagula flour zonse, wete maybe 30,000. But somebody brings to him a 50,000. So he's going to say, pitani mukagule kujeni, flour lero, musagagule 130,000, mukagule 135, chukise. That's exactly what happens with the company. If they make more profit, they take it back to be invested into the organization to increase investment or to increase the capital. Is it? It's not just the end of the way, but we tend to think, Cindy Kumba. But they're the same things that we do normally. net operating assets. The value of operating assets doesn't mean the company has an equivalent amount of money to spend. If, let's say, a company has got 35 million in operating assets, he may only have a 4 million in net operating assets. This means that 31 million of his company's wealth is either tied up in tangible and non-tangible asset items, or is an operating liability. Is it okay? We're talking about net operating assets, okay? That's what we want to understand now. We're saying that a company has got a 35, Western Asia company is 35 million, okay, of operating assets. This one, 35 million. Think what it is. Think what put it in revenue. Okay? So we are saying, if it has 35 million as operating assets, again, he has 4 million in net operating assets, which means 31 million of the company's worth is either tied up in a tangible or intangible assets. Mwamva? Tikuona company net operating assets for 4 million. The total operating assets for that company is 35 million. Ndieno tikuthandauza kunena kuti 31 million imene yasala is in the tangible and intangible assets. Zimene tikuthandauza. Tangible and intangible assets. For a company, for example, it's about it's worth 70 billion. Okay? It's 70 billion. So if you narrate it, more than net operating profit equals to 10 million. So 10 million York. Then you calculate to say, okay, this is a net that we can see. Therefore, these other amounts are tied up in the either fixed assets or current. So we're saying between tangible and intangible assets. So what are we talking about? We're talking about that you as the asset managers, you should know. You know that you can look at a very big figure, but the operating net operating profit is very small. That should not interfere. These people have got money because the value of their assets is more. That's what I want to explain. Must you something? Yvonne, is it fine? Good. Let me pick the control. Hello. That's the commercial. Yes, I'm in class with you after 10 o'clock. So what I say in summary, anything that directly contributes to the income of a company can be considered an operating asset. For example, a tie and dye business purchasing clothing and dye to create his products. Since these items will be converted into inventory products, they are considered as current assets. Yvonne, you understanding? Good. We're talking of an example of a tie and dye company. Okay? So we are saying that a tie-and-dye business purchases clothing and dye to create their products. Therefore, these items are converted into inventory products. They are considered as current assets. So, however, the bucket in which the dye and shape and the dyeing rack are considered fixed assets, as he will not be selling either of the them to the public. We're talking about a tie-and-dye company. Okay? They buy items, they buy dye, okay? But they have got buckets where they put in and dye their clothes for them to sell. The buckets that they are using, those are fixed assets. You get the point? That's what they're telling us. While these others are what current assets. Because they are easily converted into cash. Mark is fine. So, in this company, he can include both his current assets as well as fixed assets as part of his total operating value. Okay? So, when we're talking about the operating assets, all that are current as well as fixed are put together. That's why we have been given that example. So we have seen net operating assets that we have looked into. And now we should go into operating capital only. Operating capital. There's no asset at the end. Operating capital. What is operating capital, Martin?
The income allocated to run the business.
Come again?
It's more like the income that is allocated to running the business.
Good. So if we're talking of operating capital, we're talking it as the cash used for daily operations in a company. As a result, it is essential to the survival of each and every business. So, operating capital is very important. That's for any business to be seen that it's operation. That's cash which is used on daily basis. That's operating capital. But we're just going over because we want to understand more about what is supposed to be taken aboard when we are doing asset financing. Whether small or large, across industries and under any other conditions that a business faces, lack of cash is one of the main reasons why a company fails. So cash is something that a company shows that it is running. Due to this fact, it is of key importance that businesses monitor and plan for future cash holding to assure that the business will have the money needed to continue for its business. So, operating capital is very important. That shows that the business is in operation. So, operating capital is the most essential asset in any business. Allows the company to stay open, also known as working capital. It can come from many sources. There have no differences in a small business. Will come from investors For example, saving of the owners, the friends and family of the owner's bank. For an existing business, operating capital outlay will come from more providers than for the startup. The same operation exists with the current owners, friends and family. What are we talking about? We are just explaining more about the operating capital. That is, operating capital can come from friends, family and so on. So this is what we are explaining in connection of capital. Okay, we're waiting for you a bit because I want to start a second small topic. Then accounting for finance leases. Accounting for finance leases. For asset head and finance leases or hire purchase, this accounting treatment would not disclose the reality of the situation. If a lessor leases out an asset on a finance lease, the asset will probably never be seen on his premise or used in his business again. You get the point? It will be inappropriate for a lessor to record such an asset as a non-current asset. In reality, what he owns is a stream of cash flows, receivables from the lessee. What we are talking about is the finance lease. Finance lease is where we are talking about either treatment of the accounting that is there. It means that the asset is not going to be seen in his premise. Chimene akuona drama zoka zimene zikumalowa, okay, in his company. So what do we want to understand here? We want to understand more about finance lease, where I just want you to know because it's part of what we are learning in the course outline. So the asset is an amount received rather than a non-current asset. Similarly, a lease may use a finance lease to fund the acquisition of a major asset which he would then use in his business. Perhaps for many years, the substance of the my dear man, that's good. You repeat it. Okay. Okay, yeah, I can 14. Okay, I'm waiting to that design. In class, we need to attend 10 o'clock. Check in. Okay. As that you don't go so the account here to design in the week. Yes. Okay. Okay, then. Thank you. So, what are they explaining here? They are explaining to say, as this one is receiving money every month, you can think of going to buy another asset that is going to be using. That's what they are explaining here. To say, if we are talking of, let's say, amount that is being received monthly, that he's receiving, that is the money that he's every month receiving, he can think of buying of a bigger asset or a major asset which he will then use in the business, perhaps for many years in fact. So the substance of the transaction is that he has acquired a non-current asset, and this is reflected in the accounting treatment prescribed. The lease never became the owner of the asset. Let's say 500,000 every month. Let me buy another asset. That's how people make more assets for those that are hiring companies. So we have finance and operating needs. We have this diagram. I want it. I don't know. We are talking of finance and operating needs. I don't know really what to go. I'm busy. We have that, and then his ownership transferred by the end of the lease term. Ownership transferred. Transferred what? transferred by the end of the lease term. So there are questions, then Sindipanga zose kwa mandingo kulemba pale zoea bazentena kati ndizo kuzimuza. Jazilizi does the lease contain a bargain purchase? Does the lease contain bargain? Bargain purchase. I think hii mkana kana ndizi mkana kupasana mwili before na kupasana presentation. So sindipitiliza then we're saying that then here at the end is the financial operating rate. At the end, this is the financial rate. So here is the no. Here is the no. Zikupitilira kutundibuuzani. Here is a yes. Here is a yes. Okay. What are we trying to understand here? We want to understand that between financing and operating lease. Okay. So there where there are boxes, that's where it's operating lease. That telling us that the first question goes like, is the ownership transferred by the end of the lease term if it is operating lease? No. But if it is a finance lease, yes. You get the point? You understand what I'm saying? Good. So those are the first two ones, but there are 5 of them. There are 4 of them. Okay? The second one, does the lease contain a bargain purchase? The operating lease, no. The finance lease, yes. So every question that we have written is when we are talking of operation lease, it's a no. But finance lease, it's a yes. So it's just like the opposite of what we are talking about. So the said question is the lease term for a major part of the asset assets, the answer is no, but for finance lease, it's yes. And then it continues the other question. So this is the just an example, or is the understanding on the finance and operating lease. But the best. We're saying that these are the questions, okay? Questions that are in boxes. Whereby we are talking about finance and operating lease, okay? When we are, these questions, when we are answering, when we are talking about operation lease, the answer is always a no. There are 4 questions that were given in the diagram. So the first question is that, but the answer is no. But when we go to the finance lease, it's a yes. So we are saying that is ownership transferred by the end of the lease term? When we are talking about operating lease, we are saying no. But when we are talking about finance lease, yes, the ownership is transferred.
Financial leasing, ownership is transferred.
Come again?
In financial leasing, the ownership is transferred.
In financial lease, the ownership is transferred. In operating lease, the finance is not, the ownership is not transferred. Then we go to this, does the lease contain bargain purchase fee? In operating lease, no, that cannot happen. But in finance lease, yes, that can happen. So we have 4 questions. The other questions are 2 coming between here, between 2, like this, because of that. So the answers are always yes when we're talking about finance lease. But when we're talking about operating lease, the answer is no. So these things are just like the opposite of each other. Why are we talking about this? We want us to understand more about how we are going to be managing assets. Firstly, we have to understand how these things go about. 2 slides more. Land and buildings under International Accounting Standard 17. The land and buildings elements of a lease of land and buildings are considered separately for the purposes of lease classification. International Accounting Standard 17. The land and buildings elements of a lease of a land and building are considered separately for the purposes of lease classification. A lease for land is normally treated as an operating lease, unless title is expected to pass at the end of the lease term. A lease of buildings will be treated as a finance lease. It satisfies the requirement. What are we talking about here? We are saying that if we're talking about land and buildings, you go and read under International Standard number 17 about this. We're saying that if we are talking about land and buildings, these are treated separately. Okay? A lease of land, land only, is normally treated as operating lease. Land is operated as operating lease, while building is treated as finance lease.
But land operating, including finance.
Yes. Hmm? We know these are normal. Kungoti put in the glass. It's the same. In Mugagure land Magu. Magura land. Mugagura land. Mukamaliza ndi pamene amazanena kuti mapepala alandira. So this is exactly what they're explaining here. The minimum lease payments are allocated between the land and buildings elements in proportion to the relative fair value of the leasehold interest in the land and building. If the value of the land is immaterial, classification will be according to the building. If the payments cannot be liably allocated, the entire lease is classified as a finance lease, unless both elements are operating lease, in which case the entire lease is classified as an operating lease. So that's financial reporting text, chapter number 16. You go and read that. You explained very well and you will understand. Financial reporting text, chapter 16. You are going to understand well about finance and the operating things. We have said finance reporting text, chapter 16. Or F7, okay? F7, you are going to have that well understood. So, that is partially the introduction of our subject and the understanding of the some terms that we're going to interact in our lecture. Any questions? Yvonne? If I ask you a question, you're going to get it? Good. Thank you so much. Sometimes the contract hire can be there. Contract hire, understand contract hire. Of the one that can come. So that's that according to today, and let's did you get to Negative. Is 16 number 7? Did I give you an assignment, this one? This one? I did. Napenda, which number na tawina?
No, really, yeah,
Oyamao. Okay. Kodi yamao ati mfunzira sonja za tawina? Assignment after financial management. Then, sit down your one. We have to write the assignment. First question. Discuss the nature of asset finance. Asset finance. Explain financing of commercial vehicles. Explain financing of commercial vehicles. Executive cars. Plant and machinery and mortgage loans. And then examine the benefit of asset finance. 4 pages. Discuss the nature of asset finance. Explain financing of commercial vehicles, executive company cars, plants and machinery and mortgage loans, and examine the benefit of asset finance. 4 pages. Come again? I do one only. Yes, 2. Those are the Swahili and subject in the assignment. 2. In asset financial management, in connection of the analysis of financial statements, there are several ways that are done. In asset financing management, there are analysis of financial statements, and these are some of them. Can you discuss? A. Ratio analysis, DuPont equations. The DuPont equation. The DuPont equation. DuPont equation. 3 pages. Reference should be more than 5 books, including the ones given in the course outline.